because these are people who've lived hundreds of years with war. And when people complain about what Canada's doing in places like, well, right now, I don't want to get too political on this. You know what? They're helping an awful lot. They really are, regardless of what you read about in the papers. You're only reading one side of the story, and that's usually the story that's trying to sell the newspaper. So don't believe it all.
Did you find there's a lot of camaraderie between the entertainers?
Well, even more important than the show, and the show was top rated.
Oh, yeah.
Even more important as that is, it's written right into your contract that you will go to the meet and greet, which is a very simple term, after the show. But that was so important. I didn't like them when I first went that, because I'm not really a friendly person. I don't like people very much. Because when your job is standing in front of people and make them laugh, and you don't make them laugh, they let you know they didn't laugh. So I'm very much a loner. A lot of comedians are, actually. But I didn't really want to do it because I felt uncomfortable. I didn't know what it was like. I didn't know what was going on. But it is absolutely amazing because you bring a piece of home to them. That's the only piece of home they have. And I still will go places and run into people who saw me there.
Wow.
And they all come up to talk to you.
Next up, this act is Smokin'.
Quickly while they're resetting the stage, and I do need a brave volunteer, a female volunteer, a person who has no heart, a person who has no soul, a person who has no moral values. Yes, we are looking for an Amway distributor. Thank you. In fact, how about a lady sitting right there in the white top? You're very close. Come on up here. Give her a hand, folks. Here's your hand. Good. Time to party. Now, what's your name? Val. What group are you with tonight, Val?
Group here.
What group would that be?
Social workers.
Social workers. Do I look familiar? Val, I want you to scope the audience. I want you to notice there are some gentlemen out there wearing jackets and stuff. I want you to go in the audience and find me a gentleman who's wearing a jacket. I want you to use all of your feminine wiles, make him remove that jacket, and then return up here with a jacket in hand, okay? Val is now going through the audience. She's thinking, concentrating, perhaps even fantasizing, looking for the perfect volunteer. She finds a guy. Oh, great, the biggest guy in the audience. Perfect, thanks. Now, Val, the jacket was the easy part. We're going to try and find something else which is much more difficult, especially in this day of age of political correctness, Val. I want you to go in the audience and borrow one unlit cigarette. Okay, we're going to prove that Brad's jacket is fireproof, okay? Is that his name? That's not his name.
Fred.
What's this? Oh, Fred? John. We're not checking into a hotel, okay? Neither do I. We're going to light this up. And it'll just be easier if you do this on the other side, Val, because I'm going to place the coat over my fist like this. I will be holding my fist open thusly, okay? You will then take one finger from either hand, poke it into the jacket like that. to create an indentation, okay? And that's where we're gonna place the cigarette, okay? You know what, it is a lot more funnier if it's lit, so we're gonna try with that. Now, if you're up for the law and all this crap, I'm not smoking the cigarette, I'm here to lighting it for a demonstration sign. Go to the hill. I don't know. I'd never be prime minister if I did. Saw Mr. Wizard do this on TV, so you know it's gotta be good. Well, you know what though? I don't smoke, but if I did smoke, I'd smoke them like a man. Cigarette and coke. Don't worry, sir. I know this stuff goes up like a sucker. We'll be careful. The way Mr. Wizard explained it, it's this kind of science thing. What is that, botany or some science thing? Who knows? Okay, cigarette and coke. He explained as soon as the cigarette goes into the jacket because of a lack of oxygen, the cigarette goes out immediately. That is a science thing. And she's smoking a bit. Yeah, I see. You ever owned a smoking jacket before, sir? Give it a minute, it'll be a blazer. I can't believe it. There's comedy even where there's tragedy. Now take your hand, rub it over top like that. Faster. Feel anything? Just my thumb, no pen. Okay. Now, Val, give it 2 taps like that. One hot, one cold. Taps, hot and cold. Did anybody get that? And call out the magic words, Val. Close enough. That's all it takes. And then we find the coat just as good as it was when he first picked it up from the Salvation Army. Folks, have a big hand for Val. She did a great job.
Of all the things, the acting, the
Magic,
you didn't even get into the directing.
comedy. What about
Oh
the
my
stripping?
God.
I left out my whole stripping career.
The stripping career.
I was very short.
You-
Well, I was a stripper until I had a mirror in the dressing room. I thought, oh, and that was the
it.
end of that. Yeah.
well, there. See, you and Sam had something in common. You could both clear a room.
Yes. Very nice. You got a pen? Can you
Write that down. Of all the things you've done,
Yes.
what would you say is the hardest part about being on stage?
Well, first of all, it changes. You know, your life changes every. Some people say 7. I think mine changes every 10 years. I either get sick of what I'm doing, or I want to move in a different direction. I want to do something different. I actually ran a small community theater group for a while in East York, for several years actually. Always loved it. Live performance has always been my passion. That's why I never bothered seeking TV or movie work, because that's not what I want to do. I love feeling the audience, their response, the emotions, and it can be incredibly high and incredibly low. And sometimes it's tough to deal with. I know more people who have offed themselves than people should know because of career problems. Anyway, I started acting. I did a show at Class Act, where I had a very tiny part last year, and Rocky hated me in it, if I'm not mistaken, because I've just been hired on as the production manager here at Class Act, which basically you're keeping everybody happy and the show's on and everything. And part of the deal was I would say, well, I will direct a show a year and act a show a year. And he said, well, why don't you direct 2 shows a year? So he hated my acting, which is fine, because I don't consider myself an actor. Right now I'm doing a show at another location where I have a lead, one of the leads in it, and it's really tough. I was never afraid of it. I was never nervous. Opening night, I figure you're sitting there, and I've seen people literally throwing up backstage seconds before they have to go on. I never felt any of that. And yet I felt quite insecure in the role. It took me probably 2 weeks before I thought, maybe I belong on this stage with these other people, maybe I don't. So I'm looking around at people I've directed in other shows and people I consider are real actors. And I find my mind wandering. I'll be sitting up there on stage and I've got maybe half a page before my next line, and I'll be thinking, boy, he's really enjoying this, isn't he? Stuff like this. I'm not paying attention. That's why I don't really consider myself to be a good actor. I love directing. I've never felt this creative in the magic or the comedy in the last probably 15 years. Because when you're doing it, the comedy and the magic all the time, you do work into a script, you're doing the same thing every night, you really lose the creativity. Because when you're going out being paid fairly good money for doing it, You can't experiment. You have to do it. Whereas live theater is always experimenting. And when you do a read-through of a play, the whole cast will be sitting there killing themselves laughing. Dress rehearsal, they don't know what's funny. It's gone because they've done it so many times. They don't know what they found is funny. And when you step on that stage in the first performance, when you get that first laugh, then you're saying, that's why I'm here. Or that first, oh, or whatever, because I love dramas as well. When you get that feel from the audience, which is so different. Because here we are sitting in front of cameras with your buddies, and you know, everybody's sitting, everybody's got a beer in their hands but us, and yet you don't feel the audience. You have no idea how they react
You don't know
to
how
it.
it's going to be. Now, I understand actually they're going to actually have real actors on this set in about
As a matter
20
of fact,
minutes.
Well,
So-
no, they're going to let the audience in and feed them first.
In 30 seconds or
Yes,
less, what would you say to a young person who wants to get into this crazy business?
Stay in school, get a real job. Canadian actors, in most cases, it's very difficult to be a Canadian actor. And I see the people who enjoy it, who have been doing it for years and years and still enjoy it, are people who have their real life. And I'm talking about comedians, magicians, actors, everybody. They have their business life, whatever, and then they have their fantasy life. This is an amazing fantasy life. And financially, doesn't pay well. But emotionally, creatively, can't
It's
beat
worth
it.
I want to thank you for coming on One-on-One.
Thank you. There we got the
Hey,
perfect
we
handshake
got it
there.
down. There,
That's
that's
what we
it.
want.
That's
There
it.
you
Your
go.
little-
Ah, you broke my finger.
Alicia, come on, clean this crap up. You're not a red hat lady yet, are you? A pink hat. Not even gonna go there, okay.
Tell me about
Yes, indeed.
the Bob and Doug experience.
Well, if you'd like, I'm also a brilliant actor, as you may or may not know. I'd like to recreate my moment in the Bob and Doug movie, Strange Brew.
please do.
Which camera's on me? This one over here?
This one right
This
there.
was my part. That's it. So,
Be careful, there are playing cards on the ground, don't slip on them, break your neck, because we do have some lawyers in the audience tonight. Okay, they'll be up here at the